Hey guys, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD campaign. We're back on Total War Attila, playing as Switzerland. This is episode 3. Here today we're going to form the Swiss Confederacy away from the Canton of Schweiz. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're into with notifications on, let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions for the series, and where you'd like me to expand and conquer. War has erupted between myself and Prague and Brandenburg. There's a small sort of coalition we have to go over here and deal with, the menacing T-pose, as you can see there. We currently have Bern, Frankfurt, Wittenberg, and what is the remnants of the HRE. Diplomacy-wise, as we're sort of picking apart other factions, like we had this crazy civil war at the start, and now there's sort of small pockets of coalition, like the West and sort of France and sort of Belgium and Brussels have sort of allied up. There's also this like coalition pocket here with Prague and Brandenburg, which is quite cool. So, let's deal with these armies that are pushing towards Wittenberg. We're currently under the reign of our new king, Johann, and his son, Dietpold, nicknamed Diet Pepsi. That's what I like to call him. So we need to march out and deal with them. Let me know in the comments we'd like me to expand and conquer. The main objective of this series is to pretty much control the majority of the Germanic sphere of influence. We are essentially the leader, well, Johann is the leader of the Holy Roman Empire. We've got some more governors here we can put in as well. Our lineage is secure. We can put in another edict. Let's go with raise levies there. Okay, let's end the turn and continue. But it's interesting to see that Prague has come out against us here. We're still at war with Aragon and some of the French counts towards the south. And Bohemia has attacked me here, which is interesting. Why have they just come out and charged me? Okay. So we outnumber them 6-3. Why is that auto-resolve so much in my favour? We haven't got the garrison at full strength there. That's crazy. Oh well, we'll auto-resolve this one out because it's a clear-cut victory for the Swiss. We could go protective formation. What have they even got? Mostly spears, a couple men-at-arms. They haven't got too much cavalry. How are they thinking to take this in a offensive siege? Now the T-pose has gone away there, but we've managed to crush one army of the Bohemians early on, and it would have been another defensive siege. We've fought a lot of defensive sieges in this. Why are they just like charging forth relentlessly here? This is crazy. Another auto-resolve, just due to it was like 95% in our favor. The battle was already said and done. That's strange, them aggressively pushing like that. Well, regardless, we're going to have to still siege out Brandenburg and Prague, which will have better odds, I imagine. We've managed to throw back the Eastern Coalition quite quickly in episode 3, going through the end turn phase. Anything else wants to come up and surprise me? Bavaria has declared war upon Sicily. Genoa, Pisa. I guess we'll enter war on Allies' side. So that means we are at war with the Bavarians of Munich. So we're going to have to push further south now as well. We'll block the promotion there. So war's broken out there. So that's actually quite close to me. Oh, they could actually hit Bern there. Okay. So now it's turned up into the Prague, Brandenburg, and Bavarian war. Okay, well, we've got 2 full stacks in Wittenberg. I think trying to neutralize Brandenburg and Prague as quickly as possible. We do need to send an army down to Bern to intercept it, or maybe even just put some pressure on Munich. We probably should raise an army We've got a bastard son here who we could bring in. I want to try and allow my generals to be from my family because it's always good doing that. Get that influence and retinue up. So we'll get a small army here in Bern because they are still within striking distance. But it's better than nothing to have a general. So let's move King Johann to Brandenburg. And we'll move the heir just to the border here if we can get a little bit of line of sight. Okay, so there's a Norwegian host out there. There is an army in Brandenburg, which, by the look of it, seems to be a little bit knackered, but that's alright. Maybe they've been fighting the Norwegians. Speaking of the Norwegians in this series, they've been quite crazy. They've managed to knock out a united Denmark. We'll send Johann the King to Munich, as he has the movement range for it with the Christians elite. If we can take Munich, we might be able to stop those two Bavarian forces moving throughout the Alps. So we'll build some siege equipment there. I've got a couple of options with you. I could maybe put you between Prague. Alright, I'm going to move you down to Munich instead, because there was actually a choke point between Prague and Frankfurt. I'll keep you there. What have we got to recruitment here? A lot of knights. It just sucks that they take 2-3 turns. And we've still got those Bavarians there. Okay, so it looks like we're probably going to have to siege out Brandenburg while the king is down in Munich. So we've got some unassigned skills here. Tactician, Motivator is the best. And then going for their sort of general buff. Scholar there. Traditions all the way down there as well. Alright, sweet. Let's end the turn and continue and see how the AI reacts. You never know, the the Norwegians, both Viking, it's all Viking to me. All the Nordic peoples. They might even help us out in the battle for Brandenburg. But guys, if you still are enjoying this series, support it, and I'll do more. In the first episode, we managed to have a lot of cool and interesting battles. We caused and fragmented the Holy Roman Empire, splitting it in a civil war. We threw back the English invasion force that landed in Germany, and that was really crazy to see. And we had a battle against, was it Saxony? I can't even remember now. The Danish helped us out though, which was cool. Okay, so there are 3 full stacks here in Brandenburg now. We've got the heir, Dietpold. Yeah, but looking at the Norwegians, would you join my war? Because then I can get those armies in. Because in previous versions of the mod... Oh, they're already at war with Brandenburg. Oh, okay. Oh, they still don't want any relations because I'm currently unreliable at the moment. I could marry into their line if they're interested. Nah, they're not. My Imperium is noteworthy. We're strength ranked 6 with Johann now, but we're just so unreliable because we're basically causing fragments and civil wars. And they're going to come in for this one, the Norwegians. Okay. Well, we might just auto-resolve that one then. Because that's another 95. We're going to have to play the one in Bavaria. That was probably going to be like the exact same battle as the one with the Danes in the last. Because we sat back, relaxed, and allowed them to take the fort. So, we've taken Brandenburg now for the Swiss Reich. Moving down now to the Siege of Munich. Let's have a look at those odds. Why are these all just clear-cut auto-resolves? Like, I'm going to win them, so there's nearly no point of playing them. It's just the AI is so weird. If they actually stood within their fort, they might have had a chance. But we've managed to cut off the Bavarian host moving through the mountains there. And we've taken 2 territory in quick succession. Maybe the battle for Prague might be more prominent. We still need 18 regions to make the Swiss Empire. We only have 6. And we have an army in Bern being recruited. You never know, that might come back to Munich or Bern at the end of the day. We'll just have to see. And we'll try and get some more armies there as well. Austria's pushed up towards Vienna. Okay guys, welcome to the top of the turn. I've skipped a little bit ahead after taking Brandenburg and Munich. I've sent Johann down south because we need to deal with these these Frenchmen down to the south that we're still at war with, because Aragon still doesn't want peace with me. I've sent a general to Munich to hold it, and I've actually sent my son and heir Leopold to Prague. And we're going to actually have to play this one because the Bohemian king is going to stand and fight. So this will be the siege of today's episode, as the balance of power is a lot more, is better than in those previous auto resolves. So let's do a quick save and a hard save, and we shall fight for the Battle of Prague here today. I think there's a gold mine in Prague. It's a really good and valuable city. So that was really weird. Those German states had no self-preservation. They threw themselves at me in Wittenberg, and they were mostly undefended. Maybe the Norwegians softened them up and smacked them around a bit. That could be a potential option. Loading in now to the Battle of Prague, 1241 AD. Rainy, we'll give it a wait. Oh no, the roll of the dice is tremendous. It's a nice dry day, we'll take that. So here is the settlement of Prague. Wow, it's actually quite promising. It's got a fort wall around it. Okay, so that's going to make things a little bit tough. Looking at Leopold's army build, we have 4 units of archers, 4 units of cavalry, and 2 units of crusader to hospitalize, mostly made up of medium Swiss swordsmen. So looking around, there seems to be a little bit of siege degradation there, nothing too much. So we'll just try and surround it as best we can. We'll put 2 units of siege towers or ladders there, and a battering ram, and then we'll allow the rest to go from the front. I'm going to send my cavalry around the city, as there is a bridge we can move to the other side unharassed. So we'll stretch things out a bit. Put 3 there. We'll put Leopold here as well. But this is our future king, Leopold. Werner before him started the German Civil War for all intensive purposes. And move you there. And Johann is now the man to be crowned Emperor of the HRE and be its king. Now, I just need to make sure that I can move across here. What's the quickest way? So if I was to move my cavalry here, can we move that way, or are we better off moving here? Okay, I do know for a fact that that can be moved. I want to be able to get to the bridge as quickly as possible. So that the settlement actually isn't even. Do we take the risk and go somewhere else? Yeah, I think the bridge on that far side is better to move from. But here are the archers, the men of Switzerland. Further men-at-arms at the back on the siege equipment, and then we have dismounted Hospitallers, 1 unit, and Templar Knights there. But pushing back here is Leopold with his Imperial Swiss Cavalry. Normally you can't get these guys this early in your campaign, but I am using a fair few mods. First of all, Bram McBorn, so the AI is more aggressive and actually recruits a lot more armies, which is fantastic. And I'm using a mod that allows you to, once you research the technology and get sort of to the turn time, you can get mid to late tier units, which is fun because especially earlier on, we're locked at this time period. There's a lot of cool and fantastic units towards the end, and it spices up the campaign a bit. So we've got 1 unit of Templars supporting the Swiss cavalry here. I guess you could roleplay that these are like remnant soldiers looking for coin and plunder in the new rising kingdom of Switzerland. The world will know of the infamous Templar Swiss mercenaries. I guess. Oh, I can't actually move up onto that rubble, which is a shame. No, okay. So even though it hasn't crumbled, it actually makes it a lot less vectors of attack to push there. So it looks like Prague, the men of Bohemia, they got 1 unit of, they got 2 units of crossbows, 1 unit of catapults there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how my tier 1 units hold up against this fort, because they are going to struggle to push up here. Pushing up my archers here now, they should be able to drag and drain a bit of the arrow fire away from my sword units. But the crossbows here, absolutely ripping me to pieces through those fort slits there. They're going to have an easy time there. But Bohemia, a really cool and interesting faction. They are definitely on the list at some point, but it might be too close, because I'll be probably doing a similar thing if I was to do a campaign as them. But they're a really cool and interesting Principate. Especially Man on Man in Kingdom Come, the story. It's so good. We're slowly but surely pushing up here now. 2 battering rams, 2 ladders. And the Swiss at this point are renowned of taking German cities, but this fort of Prague is going to be easier said than done. Okay, so we'll try and hit those. What is this, a general unit? No, this is just straight up Bohemian heavy shock. My cavalry here is going to make it to the town square. If we could somehow knock out their general, that'd be fantastic. So the Bohemian king, here are some of the nobles there with their insignia, but where is he? Because he's got a really funky looking hat. Look at that, check that out. He's got a broom on his head. That looks absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so we're pushing along the bridge here now. There are some crossbows. They're gonna pierce us down. But the brave men of the Canton of Schweiz, along with Templar Knights supporting, are charging in to liberate the inhabitants of the city of Prague. Okay, so how well am I doing on the siege tower? Whoa, okay, that one's on fire, so wasn't paying attention. I try to get cinematic shots where I can, because it's just total war, you know what I mean? Like, you just sometimes get so entranced of the units just fighting and battling it out. So we're pushing up there fine, but because they got fire arrows there, we're kind of struggling up and over it. So we've managed to make it to the wall, and the Swiss and Bohemians are currently battling it out. So they've only taken out one of my towers, which is understandable. And now we're throwing 3 units of cavalry into the general. I'm going to get one of my units to quickly pivot and rotate on the crossbows. And how are we doing over here? So they need to be getting up here. So what is there? Swords, nothing too crazy. The balance of power is still 55, 60 towards our favour. So we've got that going. Yeah, maybe because Brandenburg, Munich weren't like a fort city. Maybe that's why the auto resolves were so much easier, because Prague had additional garrison forces. But Leopold is going to try and earn his worth, the future king of the Kingdom of Switzerland. So once we hit 18 regions, we'll become the Swiss Empire. And we'll probably put a pin in the campaign there, but we've still got a couple more episodes of this series I'd like to do. I don't know how those knights managed to move past that crossbow unit there, and we've taken the walls, but we're struggling to push up over and across. Okay, so my cavalry is currently drawing with theirs. We haven't managed to get the RNG of killing the general, which is a shame. And it's not just any general, it's the king of Bohemia. Allowing Leopold to take his crown. How well are we doing here? They're still struggling to take down the gate. And another one of my siege ladders has engulfed. Okay. So we're actually struggling to push on this far side. We'll push the general up to get that zone of influence in, along with additional swordsmen. Okay, now they've intertwined spears in there, and I haven't noticed, so I'm going to have to pull them out eventually. Focus on these knights. It's a shame we didn't get the the RNG. Those swordsmen are looking to cut me off as I've been pinned down there by crossbows and cavalry. We're really struggling on this side to seize and take the opportunity. We'll send in the Hospitaller and Dismounted Knights. My army was already a little bit shambolic and weak beforehand, as we hadn't had replenishments in a while. My cavalry, although they pushed well, they weren't able to get that sort of initial infliction that I would have liked. But we're surging in to the fort now, and it's going to be an incredibly close one as the Swiss try to take this epic German fort. Fire at will, men! Leave none alive. Pick your shots, don't waste your ammo, but just keep going. Make sure you hit your mark. So they're actually arcing up and over against these crossbow slash weaker bowmen there, so that should be a nice trade. My cavalry here is essentially just getting surrounded and divided, so we might end up losing the cavalry here, which is a shame because they just seem to be intertwining crossbows, spears and stuff in the end. We'll try push up and try and take some more victory conditions. We've just taken the gateway over here, which is fine. Yeah, if we were able to be more sort of decisive in taking the walls, we could have been able to save that cavalry. But it's not too bad, because we will be able to push up and try and take some of the narrow corridors of the city once my swordsmen come in. The cavalry will be forever remembered. Rip in the comments, the Swiss cavalry here. Yeah. Surely 4 units of cavalry on a head-on charge should have wiped out those Bohemians. If we managed to knock out the general, we would have had the army loss penalty, so... Well, not the army loss penalty, the morale shaken penalty to be exact. They're still holding out well here. Yeah, it says they put spearmen in there, which is a shame. But at the end of the day, they are defending for their homeland and their capital. And this is a tremendous fort we're trying to take. Even now, as we're surging through the city, fire arrows are still ripping us apart and inflicting tremendous damage. I sent a unit of swords over there to try and help. So this is what we're currently looking at. Okay. If you weren't sort of sure where the units were. Okay, we are really chasing these skirmishers. Yeah. Okay. Crossbow there. We don't want them to come back and hit us in the behind. So we'll push up now and try and take some capture points. My archers have been rushed here, so we might need to pull them back. Alright. What I might have to do is I might have to try and consolidate some of my men at the Colosseum here, the amphitheater, and then maybe try and drag... Oh, that cavalry's coming after me here now. Because I'm going to need my archers to arc their shots where they can. Alright, we need to get rid of these guys. So their archers are going to get one little quick volley off, as the Swiss men-at-arms should be able to carve them up. But there's even Templar Knight cavalry there retreating from the city on the far right-hand side, with our cavalry units being completely dismantled. Okay, the arch unit shouldn't be anywhere near there, but the swordsmen are engaging their cavalry, and we'll try and throw them back. Yeah, they've just given chase to those archers, haven't they? So we're going to have to get these swordsmen to try and intercept. They're now wavering now. Even though things look a little bit tight, we'll be alright, as we still have the balance of power. Man, this battle was a little bit more intensive than what I anticipated. So we've been intercepted there. Maybe we might be able to bait some of those archers in. So that's been now completely wiped out, that unit. And now that you've already made your way all the way to that side of the city, we'll try and take that capture point as well. We've got the numbers on them, and not necessarily the losses either. So we'll be right. I hope. If not, it's going to be a close one. So my swordsmen here are going to be able to pin down and surround that cavalry unit by 5. My archers are hitting their units further around the back. Their cavalry and swordsmen are now engaging the Templars. My Swiss bowmen here are decently armoured. They've got fantastic chevrons. This entire army is gold to silver. And they have additional upgrade plates as well. We definitely want to try and surround that where we can. Let's move these archers around near the general coming in. Okay, try and engage some of these sergeants here, but make sure we can completely and utterly surround those Bohemian knights who are giving us a massive run for our money. There's no units lurking back and around. So that cavalry that was here has now retreated. Try and get some general buffs in. Let's go with a war cry. We've managed to deplete the cavalry. We just need to allow our swordsmen to hold here. Okay, perfect. This is what we want. We want my archers to be in there and actually being useful. Wiped out the crossbows, good. There are quite literally 5 swordsmen going up against that cavalry unit. That's crazy. Reform you up here. Let's move the general closer up as the spearmen are now routing. So we're currently fighting in 3 pockets here. We'll try and throw down more buffs where we can. Alright, that's been taken now. Okay, you need to move back here. There's one swordsman unit like running towards the edge of the map. We'll send you in to engage the general. Right. They keep on coming back here, so try and just wipe them out. We might have to get my archers to try and pierce their general. We managed to wipe out that cavalry unit where 5 units were committing. And there's some more swordsmen here. So let's move my archers up. Instead of throwing my weakened and incredibly exhausted men-at-arms, we might just try and skirmish out the Bohemian King. That 31 cavalry unit keeps on coming back there. So there's only 25 in 50 of that heavy shock. It is 13th century, so they're really good cavalry. Now we can't actually see them in here. Pull further back. There we go, we've got line of sight now. And it's gone again. Alright, swing around here. Man, that swords unit really routed? Well, it looks like we're going to have to get our archers to deal with these sergeants firstly and try and skirmish and annoy them out. Oh, they look really cool. Move around here. We'll try and skirmish around the streets with them. We might have to charge with the prince if we're not careful. So they've only got 2 units left. We'll be fine. It's just this sword unit now. Chasing. Oh, now they're now broken. That's good. Maybe get a shot off. Pull back, pull back, pull back. Yeah, there we go. Got a good crossfire there. Alright, get the swords to get them while they're running. And... oh, what a snipe! So our first volley into the Bohemian cavalry, we got a shot off. That's it. We've gone and won it. She's all said and done. Oh, what a shot up and over the top. Yeah, well, I guess we should have never moved in my cavalry because we didn't need to. But that was an incredibly costly victory for the Swiss here today. But we've managed to destroy the Eastern German coalition of the Bavarians, the Bohemians, and the men of Brandenburg. And now the Imperial Swiss Cavalry is going to run this one down. Wowee. So we deployed 2.2, we lost 1.2k. The Bohemians deployed 1.8 and lost 1.5. Looking at the casualties sustained and inflicted, my cavalry did underperform. My archers did alright when accepted, but the men-at-arms, man oh man, tier 1, gold chevron men-at-arms, we made them work for it. So, we lost 1.2. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe about 500-600 those arrow towers got. They're always crazy. But we've managed to beat Vaclav. And we've ended the Kingdom of Bohemia now. So we're going to replenish, repair, consolidate our recently gained territory. And then we have to look for more. We need to get 18 regions. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to expand and conquer. I think naturally pushing south to those French enemies, maybe even Aragon is the play, because they still don't want peace, which is kind of weird. But whatever. We could even push further east into the Greater and Lesser Duchy territory. I don't particularly want to betray my ally of France, because I think that'd be harder. There might be some territory in the Netherlands and Belgium we can seize. Or we could push north into Scandinavia and get vengeance for our old Danish ally against the invading Norwegians, who have done quite well. They've taken Roskilde, they've taken... Is it Hamburg in this, or is it Hitteby? I can't even remember off the top of my head. But they have Aarhus and a fair few others as well. So, loading in now. I think we're going to have to end this one here. So, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more Swiss campaign on the channel and more 1212 AD content. I've also just started a Roman Republic series on Rome 2, so I highly recommend you check that out if you're craving some DEI. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series, and if you would like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.